Kae Lani Palmisano, and today I am making a blueberry and mascarpone whipped cream icebox cake. I love icebox cakes because they're really easy to make. It only requires a few ingredients. You can whip them up really quickly, and my favorite part, there's no baking involved. New Jersey is headed into blueberry season, and this is one of my favorite fruits just because of its importance and its history in my home state of New Jersey, the Garden State, because I like to live Jersey fresh. You'll need a mixer with the whisk attachment. You'll also need a spatula, maybe like a spoon or two. Some bowls as well. You'll need some measuring cups, measuring spoons. You'll also need a rolling pin. You'll also need, of course, a place to put your icebox cake. In terms of ingredients, what you'll need is a whole box of those wafer cookies. You can use, I like to use the vanilla ones with this recipe, but I'll go over some other variations where you might want to use other flavors. You also need, I've got 2 pints of blueberries here, but blueberries, this is an ingredient that you measure with your heart and your eyes more so than actual measurements. You can never go wrong with too many blueberries. You'll also need a whole package of mascarpone cheese, which I think is about 8 ounces, whatever a whole package is. You also need a whole pint of heavy whipping cream, as well as 3/4 cups of confectioner's sugar. The first step to getting your icebox cake ready is to whip up the heavy whipping cream and get that creamy base kind of started. So I'm gonna just add my pint of heavy whipping cream to my mixing bowl. And I'm going to start whisking this up, and I will add 1/4 cup of confectioner's sugar slowly as this is whisking. And once we get some small peaks, that's when we're gonna add the mascarpone cheese. So let me get this going. Ooh, okay, it's looking like it's getting some texture. That's the little peaks that I'm looking for. So now it's time to add mascarpone cheese and whip it up some more. And I just want to make sure, like, as I'm mixing, the mascarpone cheese is getting thoroughly mixed into the cream. Boom. This is looking like very creamy. Oh, I forgot the vanilla. I'm gonna add the vanilla now. You really want to get this in kind of toward the beginning when, you know, your heavy whipping cream is still liquidy, and as you're adding the 3/4 cup of confectioner's sugar, but that's okay. You know what? These types of recipes are forgiving and they're very easy, so it's okay to add it now. I'm convincing myself that it's okay to add it now. And just give it like a few more whirls. Now that I've whipped up my mascarpone cream, I set that aside in the fridge to keep it chill. Now it's time to crush up the vanilla wafer cookies, which is gonna serve as kind of like a crumbly kind of crust on the bottom, as well as a nice and crispy kind of crunchy center as we layer. Sneak your cookies into a plastic bag and crush them up. This is very fun. Act out your aggressions on these cookies. Crush. Now the fun part, we are going to layer the icebox cake. And of course the first layer is the crust. So I made my crumbly bits of cookies, and I'm just gonna kind of spread them out in the bottom of this tray. And then it's time to get that first layer of cream. I like to just kind of like plop it in the middle. You want to use only like half the cream that you have so you can try and squeeze in another layer. Smooth it out. And now my favorite part, the blueberries and the chocolate chips. Blueberries are really important to New Jersey's agricultural history. And as a kid, I used to spend a lot of time with my family in the Pine Barrens. And blueberries are a huge part of Pine Barrens culture because believe it or not, the commercial blueberry actually was created in New Jersey, in the Pine Barrens, by a farmer by the name of Elizabeth White. It's kind of hard to cultivate anything in certain parts of the Pine Barrens, except for things like cranberries, which thrive in the bogs, and blueberries. Come to find out, the environment of the Pine Barrens, with its porous soil, with its sandy soil, and also the acidity of the soil, was amazing for blueberries. Blueberries just blew up in the Pine Barrens. So yeah, the blueberry is the crowning glory of New Jersey. Okay, time for another layer. Some cookies overboard. More of your whipped mascarpone cream on top. I'm gonna put some more blueberries on top. Cover up some of the holes of my whipped cream. Put a few more chocolate chips throughout. Not a lot, just a little. Kind of like decorate it, bam. And now it's time to put the icebox cake into the freezer. And you want it to freeze for at least 4 hours, maybe overnight. I made a variation of the icebox cake that I just put into the freezer, and this one is more chocolate focused. The whipped cream, it's minus the mascarpone cheese, and instead of that, it's just 1 pint of the heavy whipping cream, 3 tablespoons of some cocoa powder, and maybe a few squirts of chocolate syrup. This is where I used those hazelnut Oreos, those limited edition hazelnut Oreos. I had about half a pack, so I kind of was like, I ran out of Oreos on that second layer, but for the most part, all of those components are there. Ooh, I can hear the cookies. Look at that. You can see my blueberries. Oh yeah. There you have it, an icebox cake. It really doesn't take that much time. It's only a few ingredients, and then you come up with something that's really fun. And also too, you can do all types of different variations. You don't just have to use blueberries, which is my favorite fruit. You can use strawberries, you can use bananas, you can use no fruits at all and just cream and cookies. Like, have at it. And also too, if you have a flavor combination that you're interested in making an icebox cake, definitely let me know in the comments. I'm curious to see what you all are making up. In the meantime, I'm just gonna give this one a try. Thanks so much for following along. This was a really fun project to tackle for my first ever baking, cooking / no bake video. So thanks so much for tuning in. Let me know what types of icebox cakes you're gonna be making this summer, and stay Jersey fresh. Oh man.